Okay, looking at your review, number one, you prefer.
Yeah, you just prefer.
But she's reading. But she freaked out. You just gotta let me know, Taylor, you can hand her the pencil. Brody, you gotta let me know, because I about sat down the whole day, I got all of her stuff, like, it was bad, that's my favorite. Y'all, buy you a pack. They're like $10 though, but you only get 3 of them. So annoying.
I think you can break it.
They really are like the most people. Okay. Number one, let me refresh you on how to read the triangle. I know, hold on. Let me refresh you on how to read the triangle and know what your scenario is. Something you need to have memorized for this test is when it's law of sines, when it's law of cosines. It just makes life easier. Do you have to actually memorize it to do the test? No, not necessarily. Because if you go to try to do law of sines and it's actually a cosines problem, you won't get far. Like you won't get, you'll have too many unknowns in your proportion. So the safety net is if you use the wrong one on a problem, it won't work. Like you won't be able to solve it. Okay. But it's a lot easier if you can just identify what your problem is in the picture, and then you don't have to worry about that whole mess of, okay, I've messed up somewhere. How do you identify what your question scenario is? I like to highlight the side I know, and then that lets me know, okay, I only have one side, so there's one S. So I definitely know it's not a customer, an ask scenario, right? um, and then you look at the info around the circle. So like there's an angle, and then there's a side, and so it's an angle and a side problem. So that's the first thing you would do. This lets me know I have one answer, which immediately lets me know when you take this on my math line, you go to something like this. It immediately lets me know it is not a no solution and it's not a two solution. It's a one solution. The other thing we said, now, how do you know when we said to memorize the cosine one because there was only two, and then law of sines was all the others. Do you remember which one it was? And then side angle side. And another way to know is if there's an anchor fraction in your picture or not. The anchor fraction was law of sines. Law of cosine has no anchor fraction. What do I mean by anchor fraction? I mean a side and an angle that correspond. So like in this picture, I know both angle B and side B. That's an anchor fraction. That lets me know that this is law of sines. Okay? You can do all of that. It really helps you to know how to structure problems. Okay. Does anyone need me to work this one? Number one. You would just decide which one you want to solve for first. I would solve for angle A first, because I know more of the angle. So angle A would be 180 minus 34 minus 25. Then you would solve for either little a or little c using your anchor fraction. If I solve for little c, I would have to use sine angle c equals, and then my anchor fraction is 26 over sine 34. To get this by itself, little c, all I have to cross multiply is that sine 25 over there. And then that's what you type in the calculator. You would make sure you're in degree mode. then you would repeat for little a. Keep your anchor fraction the same, but it would be little a over sine whatever you found angle a to be. Okay? All right, any questions on number one? Okay, let's get to number two. There will be at least one, there should only be one, I need to double check it. There will be at least one question with none and one with two. Okay, and then all the rest have one answer. With me? Right? So look at number two. Highlight the side you know. When you first look at this, you might be thinking, the 33 looks weird. That's because they pushed it into the triangle because they couldn't squeeze it in that space there. But that 33 is actually a side measure. And if it were me, I would end up like drawing an arrow and marking that out. So I could see, I have two sides, which means this is a possible irate customer or situation. And it is. There's an angle here on the outside, like the outer edge, like this would be ASS. You see that, how I traced it? So we're going to write this. And the reason I'm drawing exclamation marks is because this means there's either none, one, or two solutions. The none solution will come about naturally as you're solving it and you get an error. That's how you know there's none. The one solution comes about naturally as you come to an answer, and then you do have to check if there was a second possibility. So let's do that. I like to go in and highlight my anchor fraction. This is all done. All right. So I'm going to find side C first because I know more of the sides. So side C. No, I can't find side C here. I don't know the angle. So see how that works? Like as you're doing this, if you start to go in a direction that you don't need to be going, you will literally not go through like the edge of the cliff just suddenly appears. You can't go any further. I was trying to find the side C, but I don't know angle C, so I can't do that. I'm going to set my fraction of my anchor right there. And then now I'll find angle B, because I know it's side B. You see that? All right. Because the variable is at the bottom, we're going to cross multiply. That's going to multiply over here. This is going to multiply over here. So we've got 33 times 36.1 equals 27 times angle B. Now I need to divide by the 27 to show your work. You'll see exactly what to type in. I also need sine inverse, right? Because I'm finding an angle. Stay with me. So I need inverse. So I just like to come over here and say I'm doing inverse of that. There's less writing if I go about it that way. What's it say around here? It says around here. Right? So if you type that in, what do you get? 1. Yeah, so here's 10 would be 26.1, right? Okay. We did not get an error, which means it is not, there's no solution. This means it's a 1 or 2 scenario. Here's how you figure out, I hope you're listening, stop the music. Here's how you figure out if it's 2. The idea is angle B is 46.5 third angle, C, to have value. Okay, so that's what we said. We draw quadrant 1 and 2. We draw the 46.1, which was angle B, this is 46.1 degrees. Then you say, or what's the possible of 2 with that reference angle? So that's going to lay you in quadrant 2. There's a ton. Always an obtuse possibility. Okay? How do you get the angle that you need? Well, you copy the 46.1 here, and now it's that reference angle from 180. So 180 to 46.1 reference angle would be 133.9. Confirm that. You got 133.9 degrees here. So this is where you have to be careful. You have to say to yourself, or angle B could be obtuse, 133.9. Now here's what you have to say. If angle B were actually obtuse, don't forget angle A was 36.1, then does that leave room for angle C to have something? So you have to go over here and say to yourself, okay, so if, I like to say, if angle B is 132.9, and then don't forget angle A was 36.1, then angle C would be, and then now do 189, and you get 10, exactly. So you get angle C is 10 degrees, which means that is a possibility. So now to finish the problem, you have to be careful here and watch your info. Some people draw a whole second triangle. Some people are able to just say, okay, and this is, I personally don't draw a second triangle. I like to just split. I draw a line and say like, or scenario 2. You know what I mean? So then I'll come over here and find angle C if angle B is that acute angle, and then I'll say angle C if angle B is the obtuse angle. And then I've finished the problem in those columns, so I know exactly what I'm working with. Okay? We already said angle C would be 10 degrees. This is where this whole part is helpful. So, alright, if angle C is 10 here, angle C would be 10, then we would find little c. Little c over sine angle 10 equals angle fraction. You would cross multiply the sine 10 over here and get your little c answer. Then you come back over here and say, well, what if B was 46.1? We didn't even define that yet. You have to do 180 minus 46.1 minus 36.1, 97.8. So angle C would be 97.8. So now you basically copy this exact thing to find little c. But you got a different angle for angle C.
We'll see for angle C to 97. And the other two be 8.
If you're going off, oh, little c, yeah. Sorry. I remember it. Yeah. This one is 25. This one is 8. There's way more writing on here than what you probably really have to write. I was just trying to remind you of how to do it in the thought process, okay? Does anyone have any questions on how to do two scenarios? If you go to number 3 in the review, you're going to find it's another, what is it? Irate customer. Mm-hmm. Oh, but see, they didn't give you the picture. You do have to sketch it. If they don't give you the picture, you need to sketch it so you know what scenario you're working with. Let's work 3 together. So sketch a picture. You know, another thing, if you want to use colored pens, like when you're writing on for the test, you're welcome to do that. When you look at my answer sheet, you're going to see that I pulled in a different color when it was a scenario 2. Alright, so I'm going to draw a picture. We got B, C, C, and then look over here and see that the other letter is A. So I label A, B, C. Little b is going to be opposite of angle B. Little c is going to be opposite of angle C. And angle C is 7.5 degrees. What type of triangle do we have here? It is acute. Well, we don't know all the angles. I can't say that yet. But, I mean, what scenario? Irate. No, well, yeah. This is, yeah. You notice that this is a irate customer problem? Can you pinpoint that? This is a side angle. Because here's an angle, there's a side, and then I'm tracing, there's another side, right? What do you notice about the info given? Do you notice that you wrote the exact same thing for two sides? Which means that this is actually an isosceles triangle, which is, now if you don't pick up on that, it's not going to change how you solve it. But if you pick up on it, just look up. And that's if you remember from geometry. You remember when you have isosceles triangle, what else is congruent in there? Same thing. Just remember this, anytime you have a triangle, however many congruent sides matches the number of congruent angles every time. So if you have 2 congruent sides, you have 2 congruent angles. 3 congruent sides, 3 congruent angles. How do you find the sides? They're going to be opposite of the, how do you find the angles that are congruent? They're going to be opposite of the sides that are congruent. Another way to call this base angle is turn it like a rooftop. Turn on the bottom. So like if I turn this like a rooftop, it's going to be this angle congruent to that angle. Which means I know angle B is 70.51. Right? Now, you have to remember that, because it was an irate customer, we found that angle easily, but we still have to check is there a possibility of a second answer. So this is where we change colors and say to ourselves, okay, if that angle 70.51 was actually over here, what would the obtuse angle be for that reference angle? What would it be? What would the reference, like, what would the angle, obtuse angle be if you have a reference angle of 70.5? Yep. Okay, and then you're gonna ask yourself, but is that possible given my picture so far? So this is where I say to myself, if this is angle B, if angle B was actually obtuse, 109.49, and then pull your info that they gave you to start with, angle C is 70.51, then that means angle A will equal what? Subtract those two from 180. It gives you 0. Remember we said it has to be higher than 0. It could be 0.1. That's an angle. Not pretty, but that's an angle. But not exactly 0, which is, so we can say right here, not possible. Which means we don't have to worry about a second scenario. We can just come back over here and say angle B is just 70.51, and now finish the picture for me. Now, on the test, you will not get full credit if you do not have something of this nature to let me know you checked and it doesn't work. Because I've had people in the past that could not wrap their minds around this, so they just treated every question as it has one answer, or if I get an error, it has none. They completely, like one person, I don't remember who it was. They completely ignored the possibility of two answers, and that's not fair to the people who check for two answers. So while you will get most credit, you will not get full credit unless you show me, hey, by the way, this doesn't leave a possibility of third angle. So I don't know if that works. I backed up the recording, it'll basically bring it up. Do we need to finish the problem, or can you finish it? Well, I don't know.
You literally find angle. You know angle B.
You know, B is 70.51. If you draw your cursor, to find little a, so your fraction is off little a. The only one that can have two possible solutions is the irate customer. And to help you remember that, think of I could take service myself, call the manager, or have your, you just think to yourself, how am I going to handle the irate customer?
What do you do?
Huh?
What do you do when you're an irate customer?
I think it depends on the circumstances. Now, I've been at Starbucks before, where, no, like, there was this man waiting on the street, and I was waiting as well, and some time passed, it's been a while, but over time, you know, you gotta be patient, and he was not patient, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but he started running his mouth, making things about, these orders, how many minutes ago, and was, didn't have any strength at all. They were trying to tell him they're working on it. Well, he started getting ugly and the lady demands a walk over short. And he straight up said, I'm sorry that we're not going to be able to make it. I'll be happy to be done. And then that set him on. And he started in and he just kept doing stuff. And so, like, I'm just standing there and I started to intervene, but she was doing a really good job. So I was, waiting to see if give up. He kept running his mouth and he went over and he refunded his little account or whatever, his card. And he continued to run his mouth about it. He left. I went over and I told her, I was like, bravo, you did a great job. I said, he was a jerk. And you definitely, like, you were firm, you maintained your cool, your composure, you resolved it by saying, let me just keep your money back. It's the short too. I wouldn't be like, in your short, like, you got this man that's taller than you, barking, and you're just like, I'm sorry, you're going to have to leave. You're going to have to leave now. Like, he's good. I would like to think I did with that one. Which egg?
The angle.
Oh, the angle? 38.98. Okay. Okay. Number 4. Wouldn't take you 1 minute. Why? It's there. You tried it? You tried 4?
I was gonna watch this one.
Why am I working it? Well, start working it. You'll see. Just start working it. Yeah. Would you rather this test be Wednesday? Yep.
Might as well.
I'm saying that because Allie is out today. Yeah, let's do it.
I just need to know.
We're still in the week of, like, still early. Oh, we don't have to be finished till May 3rd. But we're not doing that. But we'll be done before, because we don't have that much time. I think we're still on. Yeah, we only have 8, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then a final. Well, that's like 3.
Well, what can you do?
When you go to put it in the calculator, you're going to get an error. Would y'all like another day to? If you're indifferent, then. All right, we'll take it Wednesday. They'll also let Allie know about having a on the 38th one. 3, thank you, 8, 3. But I would like to see you come to class tomorrow with the majority of them attended, and you're going to send us all very first thing, right? What do you call it? Do your picture. Oh. No, no. There's an A profession, right? Does that make sense? And then this is the only other info you know, which means this is what you have to start with first. It's like a process of elimination. First start. So you're going to cross multiply now. And then you get inverse sign of that gigantic fraction. Maggie or Allie or any of y'all, will you text Allie and let her know that we decided to make it Wednesday. Yeah. Well, that way too, she's not. No, you're good. Well, it's also my fault for not emailing this to the mom after I said I would. I'm like, okay. Yes.